Battle of Kadesh 1274 BC, often considered one of the earliest recorded battles in history. This clash between the Egyptians under Ramses II and the Hittites, led by Muwatalli II in modern-day Syria, is famous for its massive chariot forces. As the sun rose over the ancient city of Kadesh, it bathed the rippling Euphrates in a golden light, casting long shadows from the assembled ranks of warriors in their chariots. The air was charged with tension, a silent anticipation that hung heavily over the men of Egypt under the command of their indomitable pharaoh, Ramses II. Opposite them, across the arid plains that served as their battlefield, the formidable forces of the Hittite king Muwatalli II stood ready, their own chariots and infantry forming a formidable line of defense. Ramses, mounted on his chariot, surveyed the scene with a warrior's keen gaze. His heart pounded with the drums of war, the rhythmic beat syncing with the pulse of his blood. Today, he would either carve his victory into the annals of history or stain the sands with his blood. He raised his hand, the signal gleaming in the morning light, and the silence broke with the thunderous roar of 1,000 chariots charging forward. The ground trembled under the onslaught of hooves and wheels. Egyptian charioteers, masters of war, drove their horses hard, the chariots slicing through the air, arrows raining down upon the Hittite lines. The Hittites, known for their discipline, responded with a volley of their own, their well-trained archers targeting the swiftly moving Egyptians. Amidst the chaos, a young Egyptian charioteer named Kamenweti fought fiercely. He maneuvered his chariot with skilled precision, dodging arrows and spears as he penetrated deeper into the enemy's formation. His heart raced as he spotted a gap in the Hittite defenses, a chance to break their line and sow confusion. Suddenly, a massive Hittite chariot, heavier and more formidable than his own, crashed into Kamenweti's path. The collision was brutal, throwing him from his vehicle. The world spun wildly around him as he hit the ground, dust and debris clouding his vision. Scrambling to his feet, he found himself face to face with a Hittite warrior, their eyes locking in mutual recognition of the death that danced around them. Kamenweti grasped his sword, his breaths quick and shallow as the Hittite charged. Metal clanged against metal, sparks flying with each parry and thrust. Each man knew that his life depended not just on strength, but on the cunning of his moves. Finally, with a deft twist and a surge of his last reserves of strength, Kamenweti managed to push the blade past the Hittite's guard, the impact sending shockwaves up his arm. As the Hittite warrior fell, Kamenweti's gaze lifted to the battle around him. Ramses II, seeing the risk taken by his men, pushed deeper into the fray, his presence bolstering the Egyptian forces. Encouraged, the Egyptians rallied, their shouts rising over the din of battle as they pushed the Hittites back step by grueling step. Meanwhile, Muwatalli II, from his vantage point, saw the tide turning. With a strategic mind, he ordered a contingent of his best chariots to flank the Egyptians. The move was sudden and devastating, catching the Egyptians off guard and briefly turning the momentum in favor of the Hittites. The battle raged on, a brutal tug of war under the scorching sun, until exhaustion and the weight of losses began to tip the scales. As dusk fell over Kadesh, the once ordered lines of soldiers and chariots were nothing more than scattered groups of weary men. Though neither side claimed a decisive victory that day, the Battle of Kadesh would be remembered through the ages not just for the tactics employed or the might displayed, but for the indomitable spirit of those who fought. Their valor turned the sands of Kadesh into a testament to the ferocity and courage of all warriors who dared to march into the annals of history.